Yes, doesn't matter. Um, all right, we've got the externals, the extrinsic um, things or factors in our life that affect us, that we get rather hung up on. So I'm going to put materialism, because that is one issue, particularly in Europe, where I come from, that tends to overtake and suppress our inner self. So I'm going to say that these are being suppressed. And what comes from the suppression is depression. This goes in the square box. We also have complexes that we have to deal with. Issues. So now if we look at our lives and see what those external factors are that affect us so strongly in our lives, the problem is that these get squashed, they get stifled. I like to use the word stifled. And depression, when the people come to see me, they've lost their way in life. And they're not always quite sure why they're depressed in the first place. But it does manifest in illness, which I'm also going to put in there. Because if you lose touch with your inner spirit, your soul, and you are unsure and you get depressed and you have all these fears, which Abby was talking about, eventually you become ill in whatever way. Stress causes illness. It's about releasing all these negative feelings. So it's turning negative into positive. How do we do that? Now, I'm going to say at the bottom, yoga is about getting in touch with ourselves, and the meditation that you referred to. Getting in touch with who we are. So it's unfortunate that in the world today, there are many people that are unable or not aware of the fact that we do have this inner core, and how much happier we are when we come more in touch with ourselves. So it is about learning who we are, taking the time to understand ourselves, understanding why we're depressed, why does the illness come. Now I'm going to throw something else into the pot, which is a belief of mine. The different types of illness that we have will be relative to the different types of negative emotions that we have. And that will be linked to the chakras. So we have to be aware that we are energy fields. We have different energy fields. We have the aura around us. Every time we have a feeling or an emotion, the colors change. Perhaps the solar plexus, which affects digestion. It is related to stress and tension. If we have fear, it goes straight to our stomach. So if you looked at the color, which should be a bright sunlight yellow, it goes murky. So if we have somebody that can look at our chakras, they're able to tell us, you have a problem here. What is it? What are you fearful of, for example? Um, I don't want to go into other illnesses, but I leave that thought with you to think about maybe yourself, family, anything that might happen. Why did it happen? Mostly it happens because of stress. That is my experience with the clients that I have. So, what we're looking for, I'm aware I've only got 5 minutes. What we're looking for is a release from this box, right? Of the repression that we have from our everyday lives in a materialistic society. How do we get out of that? So we need to make an opening for the circles to be released, right? We need to go out of this materialism and out of the daily grind, perhaps, work. We get caught up with all these things. We need time for ourselves every day if possible, not always possible, but start to think more within. Who am I? Yes. And every being is a beautiful being. We're all unique, and you must take the grace and love yourself for the unique, beautiful being that you are. All right. I'm just going to put the arrows here because of the suppression and the illness. All these things are affecting our soul, our spirit, and our heart. So I'll leave you on that. Okay, thank you.
If anybody having a question regarding this session, now they can ask.
Thank you. That was very enlightening. When you talk about soul care and when you talk about heart and emotions, so we as women, I'm sure men also, play so many roles as a person. So how do you identify which emotion goes with what and where, and how do you release and kind of be honest to yourself?
Uh, well, of course, it gets more complicated if we want to go there because we've got the conscious and the subconscious. Our soul is at the core, and it is who we are. I would look on the soul, actually, you could look at the soul as a parent. The soul is there for your good, to guide you, for guidance from within. But of course, we have choices. So we tend to fight with ourselves as well because our conscious is more aware of our environment. Our subconscious is our fight or flight. So our subconscious will take on board what you want to do consciously. So, for example, if somebody wants to drink alcohol, because some of you will know that I help people stop addiction, um, your id, all right, your very basic being of your subconscious is allowing this to continue happening, and your conscious is the willpower is not strong enough to change it. So you need much more power to change what you're doing if you're doing something that is very negative towards yourself. So you're destroying your inner being, you're destroying your soul, um, you're destroying your spirit by these negative um, habits or activities. Um, so we have arguments with ourselves. So you have to listen to the inner being, which is your soul. And we have to change what the subconscious is allowing you to do so that you can lead a different life and and continue on a better path, right? So you can have an argument with your subconscious about something. I shouldn't do this, but I want to, you know. How do I change? And that is where I help with hypnotherapy. But for all of you, it's about having the will to listen to your inner being, because your inner being what knows what's best for you. So listen to your soul. What messages do I get? And they will come if you can learn to meditate. And as Abby said, it takes a long time. But it's about going within, using your third eye, and holding a visual so that you can get whatever messages come from your subconscious. And I find that when I meditate in the morning, I have a much better day. I'm better able to handle everything that's thrown at me, you know. And I've got a very busy life like everybody else. And how do we keep that peace? It's going within and loving who you are, appreciating the fact that you are a unique person and you're on a path, you're on your own path that you've chosen. I mean, that there's another extension of believing in the spirituality of our life. So being able to cope with other people, you have to step back and say, that person, they did that, they didn't do this, they're on their path, and I must allow them to be on their path. So no judgment, as we would not want people to judge us. So I've waffled a bit, but does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.